Hey guys, it's me, Robin from RsIslandCrafts. Getting ready to start a project this weekend, and I thought I'd take you along a little bit to show you what I'm up to. My youngest son, Robbie, is graduating May 20th, so I thought, hey, let's make him a quilt for graduation. When he was in middle school and all through high school, he loved to wear plaid shirts and plaid shorts, and it ended up he had a nickname of Plaid. So I thought it'd be fun to make him a quilt made from all of his plaid shirts that he is now outgrown, since he is a man now and no longer a young child. Or so they say, you know how it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take apart his shirts, use the fabric from the shirts to make quilt squares. Well, actually I'm going to be doing, I think, a 3x5 brick rectangle. And then I ordered some medium to dark gray fabric to add to it, to give it some extra contrast so it's not just jumble of plaid colored shirts everywhere, because he has a decent variety. He has reds and blues and some shirts with all kinds of colors. So what we're going to do today, though, is we're going to take apart some of these shirts, and I'm going to show you how really easy it is. When I first started taking apart shirts and using it for fabric to make bags or quilts or pillowcases, I was being very anal. I thought I had to take each and every seam like these, and I took the seam ripper and I ripped open every seam on every shirt, even taking off these hems and opening it up. Why? I don't know, because what are you going to do with this little bit of fabric that's on here? And what are you going to do with the little 3/8 inch seam? 3/8? 5/8? Whatever. They usually do a decent sized seam. It's more than 1/4 of an inch. 3/8, I believe. And you're not going to, the threads tore it up pretty well once you're done with it, because it's been washed so many times. You're not going to use it. So let's make this really quick and simple, down and dirty type of sewing. You have your shirts that you're going to take apart. If there's an embellishment on it, let me see what this shirt's got. This shirt, a few of his shirts have this button band across the shoulder, and other of his, this is a short sleeve one, but some of his long sleeve ones, you can roll a shirt up and it has one of these bands to hold it. I think I'm going to save pieces like this and the pockets. And some of his shirts snap, so I'll be saving those and the button bands, because, you know, you gotta save buttons. You never get rid of those things. And some of those you could take off with a seam ripper, but for right now, I'm just doing the down and dirty version, tear it all apart. I'll worry about embellishments later. So I have my handy dandy scissors and my basic 45mm rotary cutter. This is what's gonna make it nice and quick for you. Certain things you're going to need to cut, and other things we can just go real quick with this. So I'm going to get rid of the seam ripper, because we're not going to use that today. One of the first things I do is I do different things for long sleeves and short sleeves. With the short sleeves, I take that underarm seam and I just cut right into where it meets to the shirt. And then I just trim around it. You can do this one with the scissors, and I'll show you the other one, how you can do it quick and easy with the rotary cutter. Now, depending on how comfortable you are with the rotary cutter, you might feel more comfortable just using your scissors, which is fine. And then you have, I can probably get a couple rectangles, or I know I'm going to get at least one good one out of it. And I also have this decorative sleeve part that I can use for something else. So there's that piece. Now on the other one, let me show you how to do that one with the rotary cutter. I just lay it down. I feel the seam here to make sure both of them are, you don't have to be perfectly lined up, but you want to get them kind of close so that you're not cutting, you're not going to lose too much fabric, and you're not cutting through this quadrupled seam here. Then I just take my seam ripper, my rotary cutter, boom, done. Then you can take your scissors and cut up that seam. You could leave this hole like this, but for the short sleeves, I'm opening them up. Now, let me set this guy aside for a second. If you had long sleeves, the long sleeves have this nice long piece of fabric on the top side towards the back of your arm, but on your wrist you have whatever this fancy part is called here. I don't know what it's called. It has a name, they always do. But then I take this, you know, you're not going to be able to, you're going to lose fabric through here. So what I do with the long sleeves, just to get the shirt taken apart, I just take the rotary cutter, move the seam a little underneath, chop it off. Now this one I'll keep whole because I'm not sure yet. I might want to take, you could take this part, cut it, iron it of course, but there's different patterns you can see on Pinterest and online that you can turn this into, let me see, if you were to cut it right here, you could turn this into a cell phone holder, a little purse for girls, because you have a finished edge, or you can have it this way. But these I'm going to be cutting up for his quilt, but I probably won't, but you never know, if I might get an idea of how to use this in his quilt. Now for the rest of it, there's a lot of different sections. Now I go ahead and I just take off. This is the top button and it's hooked to the collar. I'm going to save the button band, but this part I'm going to leave attached to the collar. And just, there you go, there's the collar. This won't be used in his quilt, but I'll probably save it for something. If you have a nice tag that you like, obviously this tag is not worth anything, but if it's like, let's say you're really into Levi jeans and you want to save the Levi tag, you can add that to the quilt also. But for what I'm doing, I'm not going to. Now here's that part that has the button and that little thing, and it's got some nice little sewing here. So what, I'm just going to trim this along this edge. And then we're going to take this front section off. This looks like it's the front right panel. So here's my seam. This is where you can feel the edge here, that this part of the fabric came over here and folded it under. I like to go across this one. It kind of gives you an extra buffer to stop you from just going crazy with your cutter. Because if you were on this side, you can just kind of go crazy. And there you go. Now there's the front. Now here's the button band. Now I plan on keeping the button band. We can either take our scissors and trim along it, or sometimes you can see this one has black stitching right along here, and it'll be easier to follow the stitching here than because of this purple stripe here. I mean, we would notice it on the other side of the purple, but we could see, you can see this black stitching line really well. So I have the camera sitting right next to me, so I am reaching a little bit, so it was a little bit harder. You can go fast or slow, whichever works for you. Now, the pocket. I definitely want to save these pockets. These pockets, they have the little extra details. Now, this part here, I was trying to take the pockets off of the shirt to use the fabric under it. But see this section right here? It is stitched so many times and so tightly that anytime you try to take this off with your rotary cutter or a seam ripper, it just rips a hole in the shirt. You have this part that's separate from this one, you'd have that. So forget it. Chop it off. Now you have a pocket. Now you have the front of this shirt, and you have all this material to cut whatever it is you need out. Then we're back to the other side. Take this section, chop that back off. Always keep your fingers off to the side and away. If you have your rotary cutter here and your fingers are behind it, but not under it, over to the side, you know, stay well out of the way. If you're at all concerned, just use scissors. It's not that, doesn't take that much more time to take your pair of scissors. You can even hold the shirt with both hands down here and just run your scissors along or slice. This is going to be your best material. This is the back of the shirt. Some of his shirts have an extra piece of fabric that's folded as a decoration on the back. I saw that if I go ahead and I take that part off, I still have nice usable fabric. It's just extra laid on top. This is where I'm going to get most of my rectangles from. And what do we got left here? Here's the front of it still. One more side. Gonna cut that around here. Take this button band off. Take off the pocket. And then you have the back section. And it's now, if this part wasn't on it, I would probably cut this seam here and the same on this side. But since we have these little pieces, I'm going to keep that attached. So I have this part, one side, the other side. I have my back, couple pockets, the button band, both pieces. What I do is I just match these two up, button it right there. So if I want to use it, they'll be together, and if I just want to take the buttons off, I'm good. Here's your collar. And two sleeves. Plenty of material to work from. I probably have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 shirts to take apart for him. Then I'll go ahead and I will be cutting them into the rectangles. And when I get a little further along, I'll pop back in and show you how things are going. Have a great day.